Hello and welcome once again. My name is David Breslow. I am the founder of Performance Success Strategies and the creator of Wired to Win, a series of digital products and coaching that literally will help you transform the way you live, work, and play. So, in today's podcast, I want to talk about something very important. I consider it to be the most important word you will ever need to know. There's one word that creates magic, and it's the most important word that you need to know. That word is imagine. Imagine. Here's why I believe that word is so crucial to start adopting into your day and into your life philosophy and into your world in every occasion that you can. So, if you're listening to me, most people know that I tend to work with these couple of target audiences. One is general life, as in like a life coach would probably work with, in terms of any area of life, whether it's finances or relationships, health, uh, business, confidence, personal characteristics and traits and things like that. I also work with golfers. You've heard me mention that before. Also with tennis players, other athletes as well. But those are the two biggest areas of athletes that I work with. And also actors, creative artists, writers, actors, singers, dancers, and so on. Because all of these groups of people are all looking for ways to elevate the way they play their game, whatever their game happens to be, whether it's life or sports or creative artistry. So, what I'm talking about here today is for everybody. And I'll try to give some examples from each area if I can. Hopefully, I won't forget anybody. But let's get back to the word imagine. Now, most people are familiar with the word visualization. Athletes are very familiar with it. It's in all the books on peak performance. It's in all the books on life performance as well. And life coaches talk about it all the time. But I prefer to focus on the word imagine and imagination because there's a huge difference between visualizing something and imagining something. Visualizing something is usually more like taking a snapshot of something. Imagining is much broader, and I'm going to hopefully you'll understand why before I get done with today's podcast. So here's the deal. Let's say you're a golfer who has trouble breaking a score of 100 or 80, but let's say 100 for the moment. If I was in a room with you, I would ask you to sit down, and if you're a golfer and listening to this, close your eyes and imagine yourself breaking 100 on the golf course. Imagine what that's like for you. Or just imagine what it would feel like to break 100. Let's just do that. Don't picture yourself playing golf. Imagine what it would be like to break 100. If you're an actor who has trouble with auditions because you get nervous and you get uptight and you kind of choke, let's say, or you don't offer your best performance, imagine what it would be like walking to the audition room, feeling supremely confident and just nailing the performance. Just imagine what would that feel like? If you're a tennis player, imagine what it would feel like to step out onto the court and play your entire game, your entire match, fully and freely with no hesitation. Not about winning or losing here. Just imagine what it would be like to play freely. What would that feel like? Or in life, let's say you lack confidence in certain areas. Imagine what it would be like to feel supremely confident in that particular area. Now, every time I do this, and I've done this in rooms where I've been addressing 300, 500, 600 people, and I'll bring somebody up in front of the room and have them do what I just suggested. We'll pick one particular area, and I'll just say, okay, close your eyes. Imagine how you would feel if, and I fill in the blank. And literally, people in the room start to smile and they start laughing because you can literally see the impact on this person's body as they're standing in front of the room. Their entire physiology changes. Their entire physical presence changes. It's incredible. They start smiling, and their eyes are still closed. A smile comes to their face, their shoulders drop. There's this look of ease and comfort about them and satisfaction. It's unbelievable. All because of the power of the word imagine. So if you're listening, as you're listening to this, if you heard the little examples that I just gave you, close your own eyes and imagine what it would feel like to have what you want. If you want more money, imagine what it would feel like to have $20,000 in your bank account right now. Imagine that. Now, most people don't have a problem with imagining it, because I'm not asking you to repeat some kind of an affirmation and say, oh, I'm rich, when you know darn well that you're not. Or I'm not asking you to make up a little affirmation that says, oh, I have 20 grand in the bank right now, and you don't, because you're going to immediately reject that. A lot of people have trouble with affirmations because they don't understand that if they say something like that and their mind, and it's not true, their mind is going to reject it because they're not doing it properly. I'm giving you a different way to look at it now. But if you use the word imagine, it takes away all of those limitations of the conscious mind. It kind of bypasses all that stuff. You know, it knows you haven't broken 100 yet. It knows you haven't walked into the audition room supremely confident yet. It knows you haven't played tennis, that way, fully and freely, like you'd like to be. It knows that you're not as confident in that particular situation right now. It already knows that. But when you close your eyes and just say to yourself, imagine what would that be like? Imagine what would that be like? What would that feel like? It is so easy for your body to respond to that. Isn't that incredible? That's why this word, in my opinion, is the most important word in the English language. The most important word, imagine. Because if you think about it, I don't want to get too deep and too heavy at the moment, but if you think about it, everything on this planet first existed in somebody's imagination before it existed in material form. Think about it. The pen, the chair you're sitting on, the airplane, those things didn't exist. Somebody imagined a flying machine. And then all of a sudden that led to all the other things that led to the actual manifestation of an airplane. A lot of people don't notice that, or they forget about that. They just think it happened because somebody was smart. They went to an engineer, they got graphics, they started to put it together, then they hired a crew, and then they bought the steel, and then, all that stuff. And all that stuff is true, but none of that would have happened without somebody first imagining flying machine or writing implement or sitting implement. Everything on this planet was first created in somebody's imagination. Go back and watch the movie Willy Wonka. It's all about imagination. It has one of the great songs in there called Imagination. I think that's what it's called. Pure Imagination, if I remember correctly. And look what kids do. Kids live in a world of imagination. You can't tell them it's not real. They think it is. And the body doesn't know the difference. It's fantastic. So if you want to do something better, differently, whatever it is, sports, a trait, a character trait, or something in life, or money, or financially related things, relationship related things, first go to the power of your imagination and just sit for a moment and say to yourself, I imagine what would it feel like when I imagine this? What does it feel like to imagine I'm completely comfortable walking up and talking to strangers? What would that feel like? And your body has this immediate, yeah. Isn't that incredible? You've probably already had that experience just listening to me. Yeah, I imagine. What would it feel like if I imagine myself doing blah, blah, blah? Oh yeah, I can imagine that. That feels really good. And all of a sudden, your body doesn't know the difference between the real thing and the imagination of it. So you're already starting to train your subconscious mind to believe in that picture and that image and those feelings that go along with it. Oh boy, what would it feel like when I imagine myself breaking 100? Oh man, it feels so good. I feel so confident. What does it feel like to imagine myself walking into an audition room, supremely confident and just nailing my monologue? Oh man, does it feel good? I see myself smiling, proud, shaking their hands, walking out, and just feeling so good, strutting down the street like John Travolta did at the end of one of his movies when he did something amazing. I forget the name of that one. But imagine, imagine. John Lennon wrote a great song called Imagine. That's what he was doing. Imagine all the people. Imagine blah, blah, blah. He understood the word. He understood the power of imagine. The Beatles altogether understood the word imagine. They imagined all sorts of amazing things, didn't they? And amazing people do that all the time. They might not talk about it that way, but that's what they're doing. People who have done amazing things in this world, people who have accomplished amazing things, they've been using the power of their imagination, whether they say it or not. It's the most important word in the English language, in my opinion. So I'm suggesting to you, sit down and ask yourself the question, how would I feel when I imagine myself and then fill in the blank? How does it feel to imagine myself fill in the blank? And then take that feeling, and it'll probably cause you to start physically doing something. It's really incredible, the power of this one word, imagine. So, Dave Breslow, I ran a little bit long here on this one, but that's how important this word is. Please, please do not gloss over this. Imagine. Imagine what it would be like if you took what you heard here today and put it into your life somewhere. Imagine. What would that be like? What would that feel like? Okay. Thank you for listening, Dave Breslow. Wherever you happen to be hearing this, there's probably a website or two, or maybe even three links somewhere near this audio that you're listening to. If you see one, go ahead and click on it. You're welcome to come and visit me there. If you're listening to this on YouTube, there are probably three websites listed in the notes section, and I would love to have you visit. I would love to have you provide some notes, send me an email, give me some feedback on what you're hearing here, and I will look forward to talking to you real soon. Imagine that. Take care. Talk to you soon.